Hello there, welcome to Women's Corner, the show in which I speak to women who are doing inspiring things with their lives. On today's show with me I have Angela Tella, who's a registered dietitian and also a lifestyle expert. Angela, it's great to have you with us on Women's Corner.
Thank you for having me.
Now, how did you come about being a dietitian? What path did you take?
Well, actually, believe it or not, I was actually meant to be a doctor.
Oh, really?
Yes. So who knows, I might have been Dr. Angela Tella. But along the line, I kind of realised it wasn't really for me. But incidentally, I did have to study a bit of medicine as part of my human nutrition and dietetics degree. I kind of got in there and it was great, you know, it was lovely. It was quite a grueling, amount of time program-wise. But, after 4 years and then professional exams and clinical placements and this, that and the other, here I am today.
So you were put through your paces, but it was worth it?
Definitely worth it.
Excellent. Now, in addition to being an accomplished dietitian and also kind of a lifestyle expert, which we'll come to later, you also had quite a long-spanning career in the NHS.
Yes, I did.
How fulfilling was that?
It was very fulfilling. It was a great place to kind of find my feet, so to speak, and helped me gain a really wide range of experience, which I find has been very useful today, for me. And also it was great because then you had a lot of experience and then you could begin, I began to decide, you kind of focused on exactly what I wanted to specialize in. So I think it was fantastic. It was a very good learning ground, made some really great, colleagues and contacts. But then obviously after a while, I felt that, I had outgrown it and it was time to set up my own consultancy.
Angela, explain to us the jump from dietitian to motivational speaker or lifestyle expert, as it were.
Well, believe it or not, being a dietitian, you're consistently interacting with people from the moment you walk into the office to the end of the day. And you find that generally a lot of hand-holding, facilitating, and kind of coaching people and pushing them and getting them to realize that they can actually attain their goals. So it kind of just took off from there, because from speaking to someone sort of on a one-to-one basis, it was then in a group, form, and then moved on to sort of events and things like that, and being a keynote speaker, and that's kind of how it just blossomed, really.
How it all happened.
Yes.
Now, do you have, with me, as life's gone on, I've realised that, whatever's going on in your life, actually it reflects on the outside. So, for example, your hair starts looking a certain way, or maybe your skin is not as radiant as it is normally. Do you find that people who come to you for, diet information or diet advice, actually there are other things going on that they're maybe not addressing?
Definitely. Whenever someone comes to me or whenever I speak to people, I always look at a person from a holistic point of view, because what you find is if you make change in any area of your life, it will definitely impact other areas. So it's very rare, if at all, that a dietitian like myself would have someone sitting in front of them and just look at them from a food perspective. Have to look at their lifestyle, look at sort of, the sort of relationships they might have, because, for instance, if we're saying to someone you need to lose a bit of weight, for instance, it would mean changing sort of diet habits, exercise habits, for instance, and then it means if there are other members of the family, that will definitely impact on them. Similarly, it would possibly mean changes to their daily routine, work, rather than maybe catching the bus, it might mean walking. So it's definitely very difficult to just look at someone from just a food perspective. You've got to look at the whole person.
So there's no such thing, in fact, then, as just diet advice. It's always...
It's everything. That person,
More than that. I'm sitting here talking to you, and I know some of our viewers will be watching and thinking, what beautiful skin, what is the secret, and what kind of vitamins are you taking?
Well, I just eat healthily, incorporate physical activity into my day, and very importantly, I'm a happy person. I was at an event over the weekend, and one of the things, it was all about beauty, and my presentation was called Eat Yourself Gorgeous, which was very well received. But one of the things I did point out to people was that, yes, it's great to eat well, it's great to exercise and things, but we also need to look at ourselves on the inside. And, I feel that I'm a glass half full person, and I enjoy life. And I think, like you were saying, it just shows. It shows.
So, my idea of eating healthily is maybe, McDonald's once a week, quite good. Does it mean like things like chocolate and any junk food, are they completely out, or do you allow yourself that sometimes?
course.
To.
Of course. In fact, one of the things that people don't seem to understand is that all the things you've mentioned do have a place within a healthy, balanced diet. The key word being balance. Because, you know, life is about fun, it's about variety. You know, what's the point of not enjoying your food? It doesn't really it's not worth it. So I always tell people that, look, we want you, or I want you to enjoy your food. So it's all about looking at how much you're having and how often you're having it. So, you know, I hope that answers that question.
It does perfectly, so I can keep the chocolate in the diet.
Definitely.
Now, what difficulties have you faced in your work as a dietitian, or maybe even as a motivational speaker?
Well, that's a really deep question, isn't it? I would say starting out. It can be difficult, particularly if you're someone who you want things done in a particular way. It's key, though, that that it's just having that initial, what's the word now, to that oomph, should I say, to just go for it. But once you get the momentum, off you go, And also, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, juggling, family life with career. Sometimes it can be challenging, but I do have the right support, so that kind of helps to smooth things out.
Now, Angela, more and more people are looking at motivational speaking these days, and people who you might not initially look at and think they're somebody who wants to give advice to others, they're taking on the role and they're taking on the challenge. For those people at home that are watching who think that maybe some kind of role as a lifestyle expert might be for them, what advice can you give them? Well, first of all, you have to be someone who's passionate. I mean, for me, particularly, I have always found that people are drawn to me. I don't have to, for instance, I can meet you today, now, and within 5 minutes, I know your life story. And for me, that was a bit of a clue as to, what I was meant to be doing. The other thing also is that I just find that I'm just someone who is very, I come up with solutions very easily, just like that, without having to think too much. And then, I've said that to people. They go away, come back, and it's like, wow, it worked. So for me, I just think it just came naturally to me. And I felt, well, how can I combine, it kind of just slotted in quite nicely with what I was doing already. Sure. So I think there has to be that passion, there has to be an understanding of people, an ability to look at things from their perspective, and having empathy. It's very, very important. I mean, those are the things that I would say are key qualities to have if you want to be a lifestyle expert, for instance. Do you have to have a mechanism whereby you switch off? Because I would imagine that if you're good at giving advice, you've got, some people who maybe take it a bit too far and want advice all the time. Yeah. How do you cope with that? The key thing is to empower people and let people know from the outset that, look, I am not giving you solutions. I am merely facilitating them. So I'm holding your hand. All the answers, you have them. And one of the things that you find is each time someone is successful in something, it breeds that confidence in them, and they feel, I can take on more. And at some point, you kind of gradually wean them off for their own good and for your good as well. So it's kind of just knowing when the time is right. But at some point, it is time to fly and kind of send them off. Very much so. How can you market yourself as a motivational speaker? Is Twitter a good medium? How do you do it personally? Well, I mean, these days there's just so much, and there is that potential then for you to kind of be doing too many things in terms of marketing. I think it's kind of working out where your target audience is. Right. And building a relationship with them. A lot of the work that I have done has been based on relationship rather than sort of going to look. I am a firm believer in knocking, but I don't believe in breaking down doors either. Knock a few times. Knock a few times, I mean, if you don't ask, you'll never know. But at the same time, when you meet people, build relationships, and that's what networking is about. Think about how you can impact the person that you've met, not necessarily what you can get from them. And just, be a genuine person and see what happens. I mean, I've been very pleasantly surprised because many times it's just through doing that that I've, either been invited to do something, work on a project or speak, etc. So I think just realizing that people are the key. That's basically what business is about. So once you've knocked a few times, hopefully some of those opportunities will come knocking for you. Definitely, and also helping other people. I feel that as women,
I know that, yes, we are relationship oriented, but sometimes when we've sort of made it, in quote, we're not happy to pull others along. And I feel that for, you know, every time you have the opportunity to help somebody else, just do it.
So important.
Not for anything for yourself, but it's just nice to be part of someone's success story. You know, you never know who that person's going to be. So, you know, if you can, why not?
And it might be you who needs the hand up the next time.
Definitely.
Angela, you've already achieved so much in your career, and we hope that you'll go on to achieve so much more. But what is next for you in the near future?
Gosh, I mean, the world is my oyster, I should say. I think for now, it's more about expanding, you know, the things that I have done. There's just so much that, you know, one can do. And one of the things I've learned is that with each thing you do, something else comes along. You know, one thing always leads to another. So in terms of, for me, I would say definitely expanding on the work that I have managed, you know, sort of to do so far. Obviously looking for the next goal and trying to achieve it. But, you know, very importantly, to live. I want to live and to the point where I know that I've done my bit, you know, I've emptied myself. So in terms of emptying myself, it would be being a good mom, being a good wife, inspiring other women, you know, helping them realize that they can do this.
They can move forward.
They can do this. So
now, very kindly, you're giving away a copy of your book today. So, The Healthy West African and Wise.
Yes.
Now, if you want to win a copy of this book, Healthy West African and Wise, all you have to do is answer this question.
The question today is, which vitamins would you find in Scotch bonnet peppers? Very easy.
Well, if you think you know the answer to that question and you'd like to get your hands on a copy of Angela's book, all you have to do is send your responses to Women's Corner at voxafrica.co.uk. Angela, it's been fantastic having you on Women's Corner today.
Thanks for having me. A real pleasure.
OK, so don't forget to tune in again to Women's Corner at 8:15, only on Vox Africa, and that's next Thursday. Thanks so much for watching, guys.